to many weddings this summer, and so are so many of our viewers. So we brought in Allison McGill. She is editor-in-chief of Wedding Bells magazine. So you know all about weddings, okay? We want to talk a little bit about wedding etiquette because a lot goes on with weddings. They're a big production, and it starts with those invitations that you get.
Right.
You tell us.
We're talking about how to be a great guest.
Be a good guest.
And I don't think a lot of people know there's an art to this.
Yes.
There absolutely is. So we're going to talk about the minute you get that wedding invitation to be a great wedding guest, don't sit on it. RSVP, let people know if you're coming, if you're not coming, just mail it out. You know, they're waiting for your reply. The guest list is contingent on this, and planning moving forward. It's all about how many people are coming to this wedding. So by you sitting on it, you're causing the couple stress.
Yeah.
Also, another tip with the invite, don't just scribble in a +1 if you're not allowed to bring one. If it's not mentioned on there, there's probably a reason for it. You can absolutely check with the couple. I think a lot of people think when couples are getting married, there's sort of a solar shield around them that they can't contact these people who are their friends and family.
Right.
Ask questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Or don't put a +5 like people did at my wedding.
Exactly.
Seriously, 5 + 5? Like, I got that.
Wow.
That's 5. Like, that's just, it's nuts. You're paying for everyone to be there, so, you know, you have to be considerate of that. Now, you say dress accordingly. I think the rules when it comes to weddings have kind of changed over the years. So how do you gauge what should you wear and what should you stay away from?
Well, basically, start with the type of wedding that you're going to. If it's a brunch wedding, you know, a beach wedding, a formal wedding, and that's going to dictate what your fashion's going to be. You know, I really find in this day and age, people have a reticence to dress up. We've become a very casual society, and a wedding is an amazing time to, like, bust out the fineries, you know, get dressed up, and, you know, it's an event. So, again, if you're unsure of what the dress code is, usually the invitation will indicate this by the style of wedding. Talk to the couple if you have some trepidation about what to wear. And again, I always think it's better to be overdressed than underdressed.
I agree. Here.
Because don't you want to be the most fabulous?
Absolutely. On the other hand, you don't want to overshadow the bride. So do you stay away from white still?
Stay away from white. Although bridesmaids now are wearing white, which is interesting. Thank you, Pippa. So white is a little bit more on the list of what you can wear, but you don't, you know, don't wear a lot of dazzle, don't wear a lot of sequins, but do dress up. Got it.
Okay, gift accordingly. Let's talk about gifting.
Okay.
This is so controversial. It depends on what culture you are, what the tradition is. How do you figure out how much to give if you are giving cash? The rule used to be you give enough to cover your plate.
Right.
Is that still the rule?
Yes, but it's always a question of how much is the plate, because you really don't know that. This is such a sensitive question. I have tackled this one time and time again. I don't have a magic answer for it. There are a couple of factors.
Okay.
Think about your relationship with the couple. If you're really, really close with them, that's going to probably determine the amount of gifting that you want to do, whether it's cash or registry. The other thing is, think about your circumstances. You know, economic times have changed over the last 10 years. People have uncertain circumstances that they may not be able to afford to gift, you know, the maximum amount of what they want to. And, you know, as the couple, you should be gracious for every gift you receive.
For sure. But with that said, I will say in my family, don't show up with a toaster. We don't do that. It's always been cash. And so I think it makes sense to follow your advice, talk to the couple.
Yes. And
you might not know what their traditions are.
Absolutely. Right? And you know, we've done a reader survey for 10 years. Cash is definitely king when it comes to the wedding gift. This is what people are telling us. But again, talk to the couple and, you know, don't be afraid. It's always been a bit of a taboo subject, but the rules have broken down and so have traditions.
For sure. Let's talk about being late. Or not being late.
Okay.
So once again, I'm going to say certain families may have traditions of being very late for the wedding. As a guest, this is something you should never do, right?
You shouldn't. You should absolutely never be late for a wedding. If you're going to be late, you need to sneak in quietly. But here's the thing. If the guests are late, the bride typically runs late, then the whole ceremony runs late, then it throws the whole day off. So, you know, give or take, you know, a 15, 20-minute pillow, there could be a bit of a delay, but try your best to be on time.
Okay, and make sure, because if you are late, then that means you're not going to be eating until well into the night, and no one wants that.
No one wants that because that leads to other things. That could lead to bad behavior, which we need to talk about.
Yes, well, let's talk a little bit about bad behavior. It's an open bar.
It is.
So some people are like, party time.
Oh, yeah, but you don't want to be that guest. You don't want to be that girl or that guy. So, act accordingly.
Yes.
Don't do anything to embarrass yourself or the bride or groom. That is, I would say, #1 rule of being a great guest. And another one we need to talk about, which is really sensitive these days, social media.
So let's talk about that. You're right when you say people might not want their pictures all over Instagram and Twitter when they're getting married. So how do you navigate that? You ask first?
I think you ask first. The couple, I think, should articulate, that's okay to articulate in your invitation, what your social media policy is. If you have a hashtag, include it, because then people know right out of the gate that it's safe to do so.
Right.
But don't assume that the couple wants everything on Facebook, Vine, Twitter. There's so many channels that you can post things on, and this is a private moment for people, so make sure that they want to have it public. Because I think today, everyone's got a camera phone and we're clicking away and posting, and we don't think a lot sometimes about the repercussions of that.
We totally don't. You're saying at some weddings as well, they're actually having fun with it and putting your posts up on a big screen, and that is we're in 2014, that's what happens now. So then
Absolutely.
It's embraced and it's okay.
Yeah, most couples are going to be into social media,
Yeah.
but let's look at the Kardashians.
Oh gosh.
Right?
Yeah.
4 days retouching one photo for Instagram. Just saying.
They always look good.
Yeah,
that's for
they
sure.
always look great.
Well, we want to continue the conversation online and hear what you have to say about being a good wedding guest. So tweet us at CityLine CA and at Tracy CityLine and share your thoughts. We love this. So Alison McGill, thank you for joining us from Wedding Bells Magazine. Always beautiful information on there. Let's go to break. More coming up. Stay with us.